Hello, everyone, and welcome to the MMQB podcast. We are recording on Halloween, October 31st, here in the AM. He is Gilberto Manzano. I am Matt Verderame, and we're coming to you here on the precipice of Week 9, which will kick off in about, 10 hours from when we're recording this, with the Jets hosting the Texans. The Jets somehow 2-6, the Texans 6-2, and New York is the favorite. Go figure that one out. But in any event, we are looking forward to getting this thing going. There is a lot to get into before we do. Sir, your team just won the World Series. Thoughts?
Yeah, I woke up feeling like a champion. I've been a diehard Dodger fan since October 1st for the 2024 season. No, I didn't really follow baseball like that, but when October rolled around, I was a big Dodger fan. But I did grow up a very diehard fan. I would say, through high school, I watched a lot of baseball, but then I started thinking, I'm like, that 2020 World Series didn't really count. So let me enjoy this one because 1988 was a long time. So, hey, it's a good time here in LA. Matt, I know you enjoyed it. We were talking off camera. So I know you being from New York, I was wondering, is Matt going to be annoyed with the hat I'm wearing? But no, you're actually very happy for me. So thank you.
I have a visceral, passionate hatred of the Yankees and always will. And I couldn't have been more happy. Like, there are two times in my life that my team didn't win a championship, and I felt as though they did. I was so happy their team won. This was one of those times. The other time was 20 years ago when the Red Sox came back from 3-0 down against the Yankees.
Yeah.
Because that one, I will admit, was better for one reason. I was living in New York when that happened. That was phenomenal. I don't root, I am a Knicks fan. I'm a Devils fan in hockey, which, obviously they're part of the New York metro area. But I don't hate the Rangers. I don't really care. I always hated the Flyers. The Yankees are the only New York team growing up. Because if you're not a Yankees fan, it is the most obnoxious group of people on earth. They're just always in your face about the greatness of the Yankees. And you're like, bro, you have no salary restrictions. Like, who are you kidding? Like, you've won 27 World Series because you're just robbing every other team in the league of all their talent. And then you're like, we did it. It's like becoming a billionaire by robbing 9 banks. Like, congratulations, you're a millionaire. Now, I know the Dodgers aren't exactly the little train that could, okay? I understand that.
Yeah.
I get it. But as someone who grew up an Oakland A's fan, which we don't have to get into all that, happened, there is nothing better than watching that team and that fan base go through agony. And the fact that it happened at the stadium is the best part of the whole thing. Like, those people paid major money to go there and watch Garrett Cole not cover first base and Aaron Judge forgetting how to catch a fly ball and Stanton popping out in the 8th inning with everything on the line. It was wonderful. And for any Yankee fan out there right now who's pissed listening to this, I don't care. Hope you enjoyed the game.
At least, Matt, Yankees fans have that clown from Game 4 trying to steal the ball from Mookie Betts. They can celebrate that guy. And then the Dodgers fans got the parade on Friday. So, yeah, it's going to work out for everybody.
The Dodgers shouldn't fight that guy. That guy. What a clown.
Protect the D. What the hell does that mean? But whatever, yeah.
Yeah, what a tool. Regardless, look, let's get into the sport we cover here, which, of course, is the National Football League. We're going to get into the games. There's actually a lot of pretty interesting games this week. So we're going to dive into all those as we always do. But I want to start with news that has been kind of dissected and digested 900 different ways, and that is Anthony Richardson being benched by the Colts. Of course, they go to Joe Flacco now. The Colts are 4-4. They're 2 back in the AFC South, really 2.5 because they lose the breaker. They are playing on Sunday Night Football against our editor's team, the Minnesota Vikings, up in Minnesota. And our assistant editor, Mitch Goldrich, is going to be there. Working on a story, which I won't spoil, but is going to be very fun to read. Your thoughts? Do you feel like Steichen made the right move by pulling the plug right now on Richardson, at least for what they say is the rest of the year? Or do you think that another decision should have been made?
I'll give you a quick yes, and I'll give you maybe a long-winded response because, I want to say I was probably one of the biggest Anthony Richardson supporters out there. And when he was, completing 40% of his passes, it was very difficult. But I keep telling myself, man, those gifts there with the strong arm, the size, mobility, if you could put it together, you never know. But people gave up on Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield. This is a year where you should be patient on quarterbacks, right? So I started thinking that. And then he does the tap out thing with the helmet. And I'm like, did he get hurt again? And I started thinking like, okay, this guy he can't even stay on the field. I get it. He's always hurt.
Right.
But then
Right.
when he's being honest, it sucks to criticize a kid for being honest. But then to say you were tired, you're the quarterback, man. You can't tap out for a water break there. Or talk to your coach, Alex. Give the coach an opportunity to run 3 consecutive run plays. Can you do that, Anthony? So after that, it became too difficult to defend the guy. I'm sure for Shane Steichen, you can't say to the veterans in the locker room saying, hey, be patient with the kid. No, you can't. This guy wants to get off the field. So that was it. That was probably the last strike there. And even me, I couldn't defend the guy. So I get it. And then the obvious, reason Joe Flacco is so much better right now, you got to do it.
I agree wholeheartedly. Like, I don't understand this argument the other direction about, well, he's young and he's developing. Sure, I get all that. I get that. They're also 4-4 and they're trying to make the playoffs. They're not a bad team. If they were a bad team, I'd say, hey, man, just leave them in there. Just deal with it. They're not a bad team. And if you're Shane Steichen, you're not responsible for Anthony Richardson. You're responsible for the entire football team. And you and I have been in locker rooms. We've covered this league for a while. Let's be real. We both know this. If he leaves Anthony Richardson in there, every guy in that room is sitting there looking at everybody else going, we're leaving the best quarterback and our best chance to win on the bench. And, I'm trying to get another contract. I'm trying not to have my kid move schools. I'm trying not to have to go take another 1-year deal somewhere else and prove myself. These guys don't care about Anthony Richardson's development. They don't care. I promise you. The coaches do. The owner does. The GM does. The players do not care. They want to win football games. They want to have success because everybody in there is bruised and bloodied and tired and beat up and sore. They don't want to see Anthony. Look, I don't care how much they downplay it. When he tapped out of that game, I guarantee you there are a lot of guys in that room who are like, I'm done with this guy. Okay? Look at how many quarterbacks in recent years have gotten seriously hurt and they don't leave the field. They stay in the game. That you could argue whether they shouldn't, whatever, but they do. The point is they do. Okay? You can't tap out because you're tired, man. If he was hurt, it's one thing. Totally different story. Guys respect that. Hey, you're injured, you can't play, fine. You're tired? You're a quarterback. How tired could you be? That is something that I guarantee you, guys after that game were texting to each other, talking in the room, talking on the plane. Can you believe this guy tapped out of this game? I believe that had a big factor into why he's sitting on the bench right now.
And then the irony is here, Matt, that he's tired because he does way too much. This is, he's not a composed quarterback. He makes dumb mistakes. He wants to be a hero. And, maybe the teammates appreciate that. Okay, you're trying to make big plays here. You're trying to give it your all. But, chill out, man. Go take a seat. Go take your water break now and reset and watch from the sideline. Maybe that would do you some good. I'm tired of this whole narrative that he didn't play in college. That needs to, learn on the field. He's completing 44% of his passes. He's throwing killer interceptions. He's destroying your offense. We saw Joe Flacco for 2 games light it up with Josh Downs and Michael Pittman Jr. And the list goes on. And so, you had to do it. But you're right. The whole locker room stuff, that's a real deal. That matters there. And when you see a tap out and, Pat McAfee called them out right away. And I'm like, it's a little harsh. And then he says the honest part, which I don't know how you feel about that, Matt. But I get it. We're reporters. We ask you questions. We want honesty. But that one, man, just say, I don't know what happened there, or give the political answer, give some fluff, dance around the question. Talk to your coach. Hey, coach, what should I say here? Ask for advice, kid. I appreciate it. That's, you're being honest. But in those NFL locker rooms, you can't just say you wanted a water break, that you're tired. Like you mentioned, a lot of these quarterbacks play with broken ribs out there, and they don't want to come out. So bad luck all around.
Yeah. I think back to Mahomes a couple of years ago in the playoffs when he had a pretty significant high ankle sprain. He was forced by the coaches to go take an x-ray because he didn't want to come off the field. And now Netflix caught all that in their documentary. Listen, I just think in the end, to your point about, look, you and I, we want honest answers. And certainly I appreciate the honesty. That being said, that is a situation where, bro, just my God. Oh yeah, my toe hurts.
Yeah.
Fine, whatever. Sometimes, it's like There are certain times in your life you're asked a question, you're like, you know what? I'm going to, for the sake of everybody involved here, it's like if your wife comes in and you're getting ready to go to dinner and you're like, these pants look good. Bro, I don't care what she looks like in those pants. They look great.
Yeah, let's go.
Like, listen, you always want to have an honest line of communication with your significant other. But there are times in life they look great. You move on. The same way that if we're getting ready for like a Christmas party or something, and I've got some sweater and I look ridiculous, but I got no other options. I'm hoping my wife's just like, you look good, honey. Great. We're good. Let's keep it moving. Like, that's the kind of thing. But do you think the Colts are a playoff team with Flacco?
Yes. So they lost to the Titans, right? I think that game, or no, they beat the Titans and they lost to
the Texans.
The Texans. And no Jonathan Taylor. I get that for some of these two games there for Joe Flacco, but that passing game looked pretty good. Like I mentioned, like I got to the point where I started thinking like they're kind of like not the Packers, but close, because you don't have a number one wide receiver. Again, I like Michael Pittman Jr., but Josh Downs, Alec Pierce, the Mitchell, the kid from Texas, and then you got Jonathan Taylor too. So they got a bunch of wide receivers there. The offensive line's been up and down, but they got some good players obviously with Quentin Nelson and the guys there. So. Yeah, definitely. And when you saw it for two games, you like if you're Shane Steichen, you're running out of excuses. When Flacco came in and did well, you got the tap out. Richardson can't stay healthy. He can't sustain drives. He's not being accurate. The development is not going well. And like you mentioned, guys are going to be, talking in the locker room. And now it's getting to a point where people are even questioning Shane Steichen as a coach. This is a guy who helped Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts. He was very productive with Phillip Rivers. And now we're talking about like he can't coach offense. It was probably the quarterback the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, look, that's I think that's the real crux of it here. So I think the Colts believe with Flacco they are a playoff team, and I believe they are too. Now look, their next 4 games are not easy. They play at Minnesota, then they host the Bills, and then they play the Jets and the Lions. Like, they're gonna have to, in my opinion, you got to find a way to split those games. Split them. Go 6-6, and then after that, their schedule lightens up significantly, like really, really significantly. And they could get on a big run, and part of that is the fact that the division they play in is not great. But after those 4 games, they play the Patriots, Broncos, Titans, Giants, and Jaguars.
Yeah.
They went out. So you got to survive these next 4 games. And that's part of the reason, too, I think they yanked Richardson. I think they looked at those next 4 games and went, look, man, can he win any of those games? I mean, the Jets game, maybe. But, like, he's not beating the Lions. He's not beating. And, look, Flacco might not either, but you have a shot with Flacco. You have a shot to win those games. You do not have a shot with a guy completing 44% of his passes. Yeah, I'm sorry. 44% of your passes. That's like 1930s numbers. I mean, that's crazy. 44%. So, I don't blame Steichen one bit. I think it was the right decision. I think it was the right move. I would have done the exact same thing if I were him.
What is Underdog? Underdog is the place to play if you're a sports fan looking to win money while watching sports. With over 5 million happy players and $2 billion won, Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in on all your favorite athletes' performances. Compete against other players just by selecting higher or lower on 2 or more player stats, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. So, turn every touchdown into a win with Underdog. Think Jalen Hurts will rack up higher than 200 passing yards next week? Justin Jefferson will get lower than 10 catches? Cook up some entries for a shot to win real cash prizes all football season long. They've got all your favorite teams and stars to choose from. Create entries with basketball picks or mix and match across all your favorite sports. Underdog is the best place to play Pick'em, so sign up now and deposit using promo code MMQB to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. I've heard from friends who love to pick their own players, their stat types. They love to text me and say, look at how much money I'm winning from Underdog. This is crazy. And they all say the same thing. It's super fun, super simple, and they all enjoy playing the game. So download the app today and use MMQB to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. You must be 18 years or older, 19 years or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 years and older in Colorado for some games, 21 in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-800-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369.
Let's get into week 9. Let's go around the horn here. So let's just start, and then we'll get into the best games. Let's just start with Thursday Night Football. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this. I know some people probably listen to this after the game. The Jets, like, time to just blow this thing up sky high. I mean, is that where you're at? Do you just play this out and hope by some miracle you turn it around? Like, where are you on the Jets and what they ought to do here as we approach the trade deadline on Tuesday?
The smart move is to blow it up. B. Sellers at the deadline. I know you mentioned Hassan Reddick there and that story that we did for one trade for every team, and I'm with you. Like, look at the mirror, check the standings. It's a reality check time. You're not going anywhere. I get the AFC wild card is pretty open. A lot of mediocre teams in the AFC, but you're not a good team. Your defense got worse after Robert Saleh left. Aaron Rodgers is not Aaron Rodgers anymore. It's just the offense is not working. A bad offensive line, but because the Jets are the Jets, they pretty much didn't give themselves any way out. They had to see it through. You traded for Devontae Adams. You committed all this for Aaron Rodgers. You already fired the coach, so. Might as well, mathematically, you're pretty alive. I will definitely fork him. I think it's time to move on. And then this game too is a little weird, Matt. I saw JJ Watt's reaction when he almost lost it when he saw that the Jets are the favorites here. It's hard to believe that they are the favorites, but they're at home on a short week, desperate team. No Nico Collins, no Stephon Diggs for the Texans. I still pick the Texans. I don't care. I'm tired of the Jets here, but this feels like their one last chance. Even that sounds funny to me to say. I think their chances are pretty much over, but they have no other options. You went all in with Devontae Adams, who hasn't produced that much in the last couple games there. So go ahead and try to beat the Texans. If you do, a little bit impressive, but even then, you'll be 3-6, and it's an uphill battle. Like we mentioned, the Colts could have a chance with Joe Flacco. You got the Chargers, Chargers and Broncos. Who knows right now? But they're up there. Maybe the Bengals wake up. I'm not as annoyed with the Bengals like I am with the Jets there. But the Jets, I'm pretty tired of them. I think this might be their last primetime game in a while. I hope so.
Yeah. Don't worry. When they play the Colts, it's a Sunday night game.
Oh, okay.
So don't worry. No, you're not getting out of that.
Maybe after
easy.
That. Okay.
I pray to God that game gets flexed for Ravens Steelers. Please.
Oh, yeah. Please.
Please, for the love of God, flex that game. The Jets aren't good. And they're not going to be good because the Jets are like what would happen if the NFL made a team go without coaches for a year. Like if the NFL just said, listen, we're going to have an experiment. No coaches for one team. That's what the Jets are. The Jets play like they have no coaches. And the Jets also play like a team that isn't really a team. And I think a lot of that dates back to this offseason with Aaron Rodgers. And I'm not trying to pin all this on Rodgers. It's not all on Rodgers. Okay, this is a top-down problem with the Jets. The Jets have not won a playoff game in almost 15 years now, and that's because their owner runs a really loose ship, and this has gone on for eons, it feels like. But with Rodgers in particular, he talks about can't have distractions. He's on the McAfee show every week. He talks about, hey, we got to be all in. He's nowhere to be found during mandatory minicamp. He's in Egypt. Okay, he constantly throws people under the bus. You can't win like that in the NFL. You cannot win like that in the NFL. It is impossible. Okay? And by the way, think about who your favorite quarterback is in the league, the best quarterbacks in the league, the Mahomes of the world, the Allens, the Lamars, the Burrows, whoever else you want to throw in there. Those guys aren't out throwing their teammates under the bus. Those guys aren't out missing mandatory minicamp. Okay? Like, Mahomes last year played with you and me at receiver. Okay? They dropped everything. If there was ever a time for a star quarterback, like, understandably so, to just be like, oh my God, what else can I possibly do to win a game and watch this team still give it away? It was him. And it never happened. And they ended up rebounding and they won the Super Bowl. The Jets have no leadership. And I don't just put it at Rodgers' feet, although he is the quarterback and he is the puppet master, let's be real. Where the hell's Sauce Gardner?
Yeah.
Where's Quinnen Williams? Where's Garrett Wilson? Where are these guys? Where are any of these guys? Where the hell's Mosley? You know, I mean, at some point, you are one of the best players on the team. And it's not just an offensive problem. They give up 25 points in New England. Where are you guys in this? What's going on? Like, where? To me, that is the biggest indictment of the Jets. That is my biggest problem, is there's no accountability. Rodgers doesn't take any. None of the other guys, you can never find any of them. They fire the coach. Ulbrich comes in. This isn't on Ulbrich. It's not his fault. He hasn't won a game yet. Okay, he's the interim. You know, where are all these guys? And to me, it is the total lack of accountability that has them 2-6. And I don't know. I don't understand how the hell this team's favored in this game. I don't get it. I know the Texans have been kind of weird for 6-2. I understand that. I know they're missing Diggs and Collins. Has anyone watched the Jets? They should be favored against anybody outside of, I don't know, 4 or 5 teams in the league. That's it. You know, I mean, to have Houston as an underdog in this game is just staggering to me. But yeah, what do I know? Vegas is the one that set the odds, and there aren't many casinos going out of business. So I'm the dope, I guess, but I don't get it, man.
Maybe there's a Puka Nacua hiding back there for the Jets. Like last Thursday, we just suddenly appeared and the Rams won that game. But I started thinking, Matt, like, you know, it's gotten so bad that, you know, you would think, I don't know, Woody Johnson is a strange owner, but I mean, you would think they'll pull the plug after this if you definitely lose a bunch of more games. Like, does Aaron Rodgers retire? Does he try to do it to some other team? Does he do the Brett Favre where he goes from the Jets to the Vikings and they actually won a couple games before that NFC title game there? So, you know, what happens for the future of these guys? I really hope that Woody Johnson blows this up after the season. But he never learns his lesson. He did this actually when Brett Favre was around in 2008. Yeah. So you never know with the guy. Yeah, listen, I don't know. They're so all in at this point that I don't know that they even, like, maybe they feel like they can't reverse course, but I'm with you. 3 years of this? Oh man.
It's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's great. I mean, I want Rodgers to just retire Bobby Petrino style. Just put a bunch of notes on everybody's stools and be like, yeah, listen guys, I'm done. You know, as it turns out, I don't need any more money. I'm going to go host Jeopardy and run for whatever the hell, you know, that's fine. Good luck, man. Have fun with that. Biggest disappointment in the league. I don't think there's any question. All right, let's get into the rest of the slate here. As I mentioned, there's a lot of good games. We'll start in Baltimore. The Chargers. I was looking at the wrong thing. The Broncos in Baltimore. Both teams 5-3. Another line we could talk about here. This is the biggest line of the week. The Ravens are favored by 9.5 over Denver. They are both 5-3, but obviously Vegas does not believe in the Broncos. Now, look, the Broncos have beaten some subpar. God, they beat the Jets. They beat Carolina. They beat the Raiders. Did beat Tampa when Tampa was healthy. That's kind of the one game you look at. And then they beat the Saints when the Saints were missing everybody and their mother. Do you feel like the Broncos have any real shot to go in and win this game? Or is this one of these games where, like, Baltimore's furious because they lost to the Browns and they go out and they hang 40 on them? Like, how do you feel about this game?
Yeah, it's part of the latter part there, Matt, that you just mentioned. But when you say, +9 for the Broncos, I'll think about it. It's a pretty, we're doing some betting here. Maybe I'll toss some money on the Broncos, but, like, you're very hesitant because the Ravens got to be, pretty annoyed after what happened to the Browns there. And then, like, sometimes you think these games are very easy to kind of, diagnose. And, obviously I'm going to pick the Ravens here, but then they do that last week. And, the overall big picture, like, I felt like a fool because when they destroyed the Buccaneers on Monday Night Football, I'm over here saying that team right there, they could probably beat the Chiefs. I'm not saying they will, but they have a chance to beat the Chiefs. And then I'm like, really? That's what you do? You lay an egg? And I'm like, yeah, this team can't be trusted with Rashard Bateman and Zay Flowers being your only options at wide receiver. They go and get Deontay Johnson and try to pull me back in. Let's see how that plays out on the field before I go and make a fool out of myself, make a call. I'm saying they could definitely beat the Chiefs here. So, I'm a little annoyed about these Ravens here. We all know about the Lamar Jackson postseason history. Great quarterback in the regular season. They haven't reached Cowboy status where we yawn at the regular season success. But if they go into the playoffs and they flop again, I don't care what they do in the regular season. So we're running out of time for these Ravens here. But yeah, go handle business against the Broncos. They're going to be a pesky wild card contender, but they shouldn't be on your level. Yeah, you should probably cover this line here and beat them by 10 points, maybe 14. You know how to score points in a hurry. But, it could maybe be a little close. The Broncos have a good defense. Surtain came back last week, got an interception. But if you find yourself, even with a bad Ravens defense, that's maybe something we haven't talked about enough, is that secondary has not been very good this year. But if you find yourself in a track meet, who do you trust, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry or Bo Nix? So definitely I'll take the Ravens. But big picture here, I thought we had something here, and maybe it's the same movie again with these Baltimore Ravens.
So, look, I pretty much agree with everything you said about the game, so I'll leave that be. That loss on Sunday against Cleveland, and they had one earlier like that this year against the Raiders at home, week 2. That's why, to me, the conversation around, like, who's the best team in football? Who is it? What is it? That's why it's disingenuous to me. The Chiefs never lose games like that. They just don't. They've won 13 games in a row, including 2 over Baltimore. Like, there's no way in hell Jameis Winston's throwing for 334 yards against Kansas City. I got a stat for you because it was for our preview file that we do every week, and I was looking at some different things, and it just caught my eye. The Chiefs rank 5th defensively in yards allowed per game, 295 even. The Ravens give up 291.4 passing yards per game. Like, look, but that speaks to the point of why, by the way, I think Baltimore rolls in this game is Denver can't throw the ball.
Yeah.
So Denver, it's just a terrible matchup. Like the Broncos can't take advantage of a massive weakness that Baltimore has. Whereas if, listen, you get Buffalo again, although to be fair, the Ravens just stomp Buffalo all over the field. But like if they get Mahomes or Allen or even Burrow in a playoff game, like that is scary if you're the Ravens because you could have a game where it's just, hey man, I'm going to air this puppy out and there's nothing you're doing. I think the Ravens are a very good team. I think they will win the AFC North. I think they're absolutely a contender. I also, look, while we're on the Ravens here for a second, I like the fact they got Deontay Johnson for essentially nothing. They really gave up very little, a little pick swap. But I like the trade a lot less if they don't go out and get some defensive help. Because, I'm sorry, you're not winning a Super Bowl with that pass defense. You're not. You will get torched. At some point, whether it's one of the guys I just mentioned or somebody else, somebody is going to just light you up. And even with Deontay Johnson, the Ravens are not built to get into a game where they got to go throw for throw with you. They're just not. They don't want to play that way. They want to run the ball, pound you into the ground. And when they do that, they're better than anybody in football doing that. But if you get into a game where Lamar's going to drop back and throw 40 times, I'm not saying he's not a great quarterback. He certainly is. Right now, I'll tell you right now, he'd be in my top 3 for the MVP again. But they're just not built to play that way. That's not the way they want to play. And so if you get into a game where Baltimore's got to throw a whole bunch, even with Deontay Johnson, I have my concerns. I would really like to see them go get a corner. Go get another pass rusher. It doesn't have to be a Hall of Famer, but go get a good player who can help you on that side of the ball.
Yeah, on which, most of the guys on that roster defensively were there last year when they were the number 1 defense in the NFL. But I get coaching matters. Mike McDonald going to Seattle. You promote a young DC and Zach Orr. Maybe they'll figure it out. But it happened. You got, Kyle Hamilton and Marlon Humphrey back there. You got Roquan Smith in the middle. And they just can't stop the passing game there. So, yeah, I'm with you. Check out our story. One more plug, one trade for every team. There's a couple cornerbacks on there.
By the way, that piece damn near killed me.
It was annoying.
I had to rewrite the Jaguars trade 3 times because they just kept making a move. By the way, I was so close. My last one before they made the move for Cam Robinson, I had the Vikings trading with Jacksonville for Walker Little. I was there, damn it. I was there. And I got robbed of my credit. And then I get a message from poor Claire like 8 at night. It's like, can you please change it again? I'm at my daughter's dance class. I'm like doing it on my phone through Google Docs. I'm cursing out the Jags. I'm like, this damn team. First I did it for Christian Kirk. The guy breaks his collarbone. Then I do the Walker Little thing. Then they trade another offensive lineman to the Vikings. Then I'm like, I can't even remember what the hell I ended up doing. I can't even remember what it was. I just remember being like, enough for the. I was Armstead to the Bills.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, please stop making like, oh my God. And then I had a moment of panic because I realized after I had made all the, because you did the NFC teams, I did the AFC. I realized, I was like, crap, man. Like, I got to make sure that all these picks I'm trading, like that these teams still have control of these picks. So I went and I looked up all the draft picks for next year. And like in 2 cases, like I had like, oh, a 6th round pick from this team. It's like, nope, they have 3 7s and 2 5s, but not a 6. And I'm like,
yeah.
So I'm trying to make like the value work. I was like, oh, this piece. I was going to text our editor and be like, never again.
Or
never
just publish it right now, please.
Yeah, I'm like, this is the death of me. Please make it stop. So there's nothing worse in our business than when you write something and then it immediately becomes outdated. Like, I felt so bad for our team. We had the NBA season preview magazine come out, which, by the way, if people didn't see it, you should go check it out. Our team did a fantastic job with it. But I'm a Knicks fan. So I flip, I'm reading through it. I'm reading some of the features. And I get to the predictions piece. And I get to the Knicks piece. And the whole thing is about Julius Randle.
Oh.
Because it went to print before he got traded. Unfortunately, people in our industry, they don't know how it works. Like, they're probably, what the hell? It went to print. You can't unprint it. You can't hold on to those 10 million magazines we got to bring back. Like, whatever the hell the run is, it's over. And I was like, if that was me, I would have been so pissed. That's unfortunately the breaks of our game, man. It's the way it goes. But I was like, oh, it sucks.
Yeah, I guess for me, I had to change Deontay Johnson. And then in the Vikings blurb, I wrote at the end, because I gave him a cornerback. I was like, yeah, they need a tackle, but tackles that are that good don't grow on trees. So focus on defense. They get Cam Robinson, so I had to remove that sentence there. So I didn't have it as bad as he. But they found a way. But yeah, he's okay.
It's just every time like I write something for the magazine, I'm always like, usually the stuff I've written hasn't been all that time sensitive. But there have been certain things, like a couple different times that have been. I'm like, please, God, don't change between now and 3 weeks from now. Good times. Good times.
Yeah.
All right, look, let's get into the game of the week, man. Detroit's at Green Bay. It's a 4:25 game on Fox. Now, this line is probably affected by the fact that Jordan Love, there's been some like, well, is he going to play? He's got the groin injury, although it sounds like he's going to play. Goff was held out on Wednesday with an ankle. Sounds like he's going to be fine. The Lions are at Lambeau, and they're favored by 3.5 points in this game. And I'll say this, man, and then hear what you have to say. I think the Lions are the best team in the NFC. I also don't think they should be favored over the Packers in Green Bay in this game. Like, we're going to find out one thing, as long as Love is healthy. We're going to find out one thing about this team in this game. Since the Lions lost Aiden Hutchinson, they have played Mason Rudolph and the Titans, not a big passing offense, and Sam Darnold and the Vikings. The Vikings are a good team, but it's Sam Darnold. You're now going to face a top 10 quarterback. You're going to face a guy who can really gun it. And also, importantly, unlike the other 2 guys I just mentioned, has some mobility to him as well. Can extend the play. Without Hutchinson, I don't know that they've been tested that much in terms of the quarterback play, the high-level quarterback play. What does it look like this weekend? Does Detroit have to score 38 points to win? That is a big open question for me. I love what the Lions are doing. I do believe they are the favorite in the NFC. But I also think the Packers are a really good football team. And I feel like this is a little bit disrespectful to the Packers. They're at home. I'm not saying they got to be a 3-point favorite. I think it should be a favorite. Where do you fall on I think what we can all agree is the best game of the week?
Yeah, even from a betting standpoint, I wouldn't mind taking a chance on the Packers. Where you get plus 3.5 points, and then
cover.
Yeah,
lose by a field goal or something.
Get that, and then if Jordan Love comes back, even better. And then with Malik Willis, I get it, a little bit of a drop off there, but he's been 3-0. When he's played 3-0, and they're at home, like you mentioned, Matt. So definitely for that standpoint there. But the thing with the Packers, I keep saying it, and I feel a little off saying it, but I feel like they might have the most complete roster in the NFC, or a well balanced roster. You got a good defense, a good quarterback. Obviously, the Lions are a juggernaut offensively, but their defense, is it better than the Packers? I don't think so. The 49ers have a star-studded roster, but they're not playing well. So I'm like, maybe the Packers, and like you mentioned, maybe a little bit disrespectful not giving them a better line there because they have a good roster overall. Now, the problem is, I'm with you there with the whole not being tested after Aiden Hutchinson got hurt. But how healthy is Jordan Love? Can he still do everything that he normally does? That's going to be a big question mark there. Does he even play? When Malik Willis plays, does he get steamrolled in this game here because it is a Detroit Lions? So it kind of feels a little bit of a letdown here. But I'll definitely take a chance on the Packers just in terms of the line there. But I think I picked the Lions here just because I'm worried about the quarterback situation. But if it is a healthy Jordan Love, yeah, we could definitely learn a lot about this team. Even if this team, even if Malik Willis goes out there and they play tough and they hang around, like it just shows you how good of a roster this team is. And not even just a roster, like you got to play well together. You got to play complementary football, play as a unit. And last year the defense had pretty much the same guys. They couldn't play together. Now you get the new DC here and you're playing well. You're getting, obviously you got McKinney, though that does help out getting a bunch of interceptions every day. But overall, both sides, good running game. You brought in Josh Jacobs, so everything seems to be clicking. My one issue where I'm a little hesitant to, really go in on the Packers is sometimes Jordan Love just makes dumb mistakes in clutch time and with interceptions. He forces the ball. He has a strong arm, and I don't knock him for trusting that arm. That's a great arm, and he knows how to use it pretty well. But sometimes he wants to do a little too much, and but I don't know if we're going to see all these questions being answered because he's not healthy. He might not play, but we'll see if Malik Willis is able to do something and they show a lot of pride and they hang tough. Then I think after that I'll like him a lot because I really like this roster. I like the coaching on both sides. Even special teams has been okay. So why not take a chance on the Packers? But I didn't go all in because of that injury to Jordan Love.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Packers in the game. Just look, I'm taking a little leap of faith here with Love that he's healthy. But I think these two teams are going to split their games. I think they're both going to win their home games. I just like the Packers in this spot. I think the Packers are going to be motivated. They're going to come out. They're going to play well. I also always wonder, like, when a team like the Lions just blew the doors off of Tennessee. And I think sometimes we have this tendency to be like, oh, my God, they're unstoppable. And it's like, well, yeah, listen, they're a really good team, but also like the Titans are the Titans. Like, that also played it. I mean, the Lions didn't even have that many yards in that game. Like, Goff didn't throw for 100 yards. He scored 52 points. I mean, that says plenty about the Titans. Let's get your neck of the woods here. L.A., although it's a road game in this case. The Rams going to Seattle. The NFC West, you couldn't get any tighter. You got three teams that are 4-4, and the Rams were 3-4. So, really, really tight. The Rams go up to Seattle. Rams coming off of 2 straight wins. They had the Thursday night win, of course, against Minnesota. Seattle got blown out of its own building last week by the Bills. Do you like the Rams to go on the road and get a third straight W?
I do like the Rams, and I don't know if it was a hot take at all, Matt, but from the 4 teams of the NFC West, I will rank the Seahawks last there. A little bit phony for me, even when they went 3. Okay, so we're on the same page. When they went 3-0, I'm like, yeah, look at who you're playing. The Dolphins without Tua, Bo Nix, and then you play the Patriots, and you play the Bills, and you just get blown out at home. You lose to Daniel Jones at home, and Geno Smith has not been a quarterback at home, and then you get blown out by the 49ers when we thought, okay, cool, you're 3-0 now, whatever the record was. Let's see what you got there with these injured 49ers, and you get blown out on Thursday Night Football. So they can't be trusted. And then we don't know about DK Metcalf. This team doesn't even have any chance without DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf makes that offense, somewhat explosive. Even with them on the field, they're not very good. They're not very consistent with the running game and the passing game. And then defensively, I like what Mike McDonald has done, but they're decimated with injuries. He can't really get anything going when all these guys are injured. So but there's some guys that haven't even performed. Like Rick Woolen. Like what happened to his rookie year? He hasn't really done much. I know Witherspoon is injured. We'll see if he plays, but I can't get behind the Seahawks at all. I don't trust them. I can't trust Geno Smith. I'm higher on the Cardinals because I picked them to make the playoffs. I'm looking a little better there. That was a little bold by me. But at the end of the day, it might end up coming down to the usual teams here with the Rams and the 49ers. But the Rams are just different with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp healthy. Matthew Stafford is, a top 5 quarterback like we all expect him to be with those 2 wide receivers. So, I get it. They're the favorites. They're on the road. They don't play well on the road, Matt. I think they lost to Chicago. They lost to Detroit. Other teams. Arizona was a bad game. on the road. But again, they didn't have Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, so they're a different team. So I'm comfortable with taking the Rams here.
I agree. I'm also on the Rams. Look, when they're healthy, they have a really good offense. They score a lot of points. And Seattle's beaten nobody this year outside of that game in Atlanta. So I like the Rams. Look, I think that division's wide open. I mean, really, it really is. Like the Niners, if you said to me, who do you think's going to win the division? If the Niners can get a little healthier, but you look around right now at the Niners, man. Like, Hufungus out. Greenlaw's still out. Hargrave's out for the year. McCaffrey, God only knows. I don't know when he's coming. I don't. And Ayuk's obviously gone for the year. Then, of course, Charvarius Ward dealing with the tragic passing of his 1-year-old daughter. My heart goes out to he and his family. I obviously whenever he decides to come back is whenever he decides to come back, right? So there's that which transcends the sport by a wide margin. Look, the point is, I think if the Niners were healthy, I think they would win the division, but they're not healthy, and the Rams are finally getting healthy. And the Cardinals, look, I'll say one thing for the Cardinals. They're a fun team to watch because they're in these games and it's back and forth. And if Miami, you have to be physically sick after that game on last weekend. But look, I'm with you. I think the Rams win, and I do think Seattle's the fourth of the four teams. All right, a couple more. Chicago at Arizona, stay in the NFC. The Bears are coming off of just a brutal loss. Tyreek Stevenson with one of the more hilarious errors I've ever seen in my life. And I don't mind making fun of the guy because that is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen on a football field. They go to Arizona. Cardinals won 2 in a row. The Chargers beat the Dolphins. Now they come back to the State Farm Stadium looking to get over 500 for the first time this year. The Bears are 4-3. Obviously in that brutal NFC North where everybody's good. Do you like the Bears to bounce back, or you like Arizona here in this spot?
This is going to be kind of weird analysis. I do like the Bears only because I can't trust the Cardinals to do it again. I know they beat the Chargers, beat the Dolphins. So I'm like, all right, are you really for real? Can you make it 3 games in a row? You play a tough defense with Chicago Bears, but I don't know. The Bears, just the coaching is a real issue there. The only reason why maybe Stevenson, I guess it wasn't the dumbest player or dumbest person on the Bears on that day, because Eberflus, that coaching decisions, man, were pretty bad there. That walk-off Hail Mary before that where the prevent defense and all that. But but I like their defense. It's just don't have them play prevent defense on the final drive there and give a bunch of yards up. But whatever. I want to see Kyler Murray against Matt Eberflus' defense. Can you do it? They're still a good defense overall. I'm really trying hard to defend the Bears after what happened a week ago. But I just can't get behind the Cardinals just yet. Again, I picked them to make the wild card in the NFC. I like that Marvin Harrison Jr. stepped up after a pretty bad Monday night game against the Chargers. People are questioning his effort on the routes. He seemed not interested because the ball wasn't going his way. I don't know if he had a good conversation with his dad, but he was lights out in Miami. He had a good game against Jalen Ramsey. So now you got Trey McBride, you got Marvin Harrison Jr., you got James Conner. Let's see what can you do. What can you do against a very good defense? Again, Matt Eberflus finds a way to blow it sometimes. So I don't feel good about that. But yeah, I'm just not 100% sold on Arizona. And if they beat the Bears, okay, maybe I'm starting to believe in my pick here. So just because I hate taking a lot of easy favorites at home, I know it's a pick 'em though, so it's maybe not the biggest favorite here. But I'll take the Bears here. Why not?
I like the Bears as well, and my reasoning is that I think defensively they're very good.
Yeah.
And they're going to hold Arizona down to some extent. And I think that defensively, you can move the ball in Arizona. So I like them to bounce back. I think they'll be refocused after what was a devastating loss. But I think they will get right, and they will figure it out. Caleb Williams was bad in Washington, but he played well down the stretch. I think the kid's starting to figure it out a little bit anyway. So I like them to win this game. I think sometimes we look at a game like we saw on Sunday, oh my God, the Bears, the sky's falling. And look, it's a bad loss. It's a real bad loss. But I think they'll be okay. I think they'll bounce back. Last game, I'm actually going to be at this game. The Chiefs and the Bucs, Monday night in Kansas City. The Buccaneers obviously going in there after a loss to Atlanta, lost to Baltimore. They're 4-4. The Chiefs, of course, 7-0. The Bucs are a frisky team. They don't have Evans. They don't have Godwin. So that is obviously a big issue. Do the Chiefs, for you, is this a game that they pretty easily run the record to 8-0, or is this a game for you where you can see them tripping and falling?
Yeah, like you mentioned earlier, Matt, they don't tend to trip and fall or fall to a trap game. They might, win in ugly fashion. They might keep it close. It might win on a field goal or maybe a flag to annoy the rest of the world. Whatever, they win the game. Who cares how they do it? So the Buccaneers, yeah, they were a good team with Mike Evans and Godwin, but they're not going to be around. And then the defense, what happened to Todd Bowles' defense? They were pretty bad. They were bad last week with Kirk Cousins. They were bad, obviously, the week before that with Lamar Jackson going off on them. So, when they lost those wide receivers, they haven't made a move for a wide receiver. I started thinking, I guess I could see what you're doing here. There's 3 quality running backs. I'm not saying they're stars, but they're productive.
Yep.
And then you got Kate Otten, who's come alive there and stepped up for the injured wide receivers. But you can't have the other 3 wide receivers, produce 20 yards each. Like, it's not going to win you a lot of games there. So, and now you have to face the Kansas City Chiefs defense there. Good luck with that, with these 3 running backs and 1 tight end. Yeah, you're going to probably score, I don't know, 15, 17 points there. And Mahomes could just have another rough day and score 20 points and call it a day. Who cares? They're going to find a way to win this game. Buccaneers need to make a move, I feel like, a wide receiver. But or even if you did, that's a very good defense. It's a damn good defense, the best one. They keep getting better. I don't know how they do it, Matt. You follow this team very closely. But, it's not going to be the Buccaneers that giving them the first L this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a game that is competitive for a while, and then the Chiefs just kind of like, all right, we're going to take the game over now. It feels like a game that's like 27-17. Just not a blowout, but a game that you never really feels in doubt. That kind of a ho-hum type deal. If Evans and Godwin were there, I'd say, you know what? Maybe this is a night where they figure it out and they can get it done. I'll give you a stat about Kansas City's pass defense that is insane, but is verifiably true. They have given up 1 300-yard passer over the last 41 games. Wow. And it was Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl. And he threw for 302 yards.
Good stat.
In their last 41 games, they've given up 1 300-yard passer, and they have not given one up in the regular season since Week 7 of the 2022 season. So, if Tampa's winning this game, it's going to be running the hell out of the ball, and the Chiefs have the second-ranked run defense in the league behind Baltimore.
Yeah, good luck.
It's tough. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing people I think nationally maybe haven't noticed or paid attention to. The Chiefs are not an offensive football team. They're a defensive football team. And then Mahomes makes like 6 God-tier plays a game, and they win. That's enough. All right, man. Other than that, let's wrap. What's going on in your corner of the world?
Yeah, not much besides what we talked about earlier, but with the Dodgers there, and
yeah.
Like I mentioned, I will not be going to the parade. Some fan that I am, because I hate traffic. I hate dealing with big crowds, and I don't think that I'm gonna ask my partner Caroline, let's go be with a bunch of wild people and chaos. We'll enjoy it from home, why not? But other than that, we got Halloween tonight. I gotta watch this Jets game against the Texans, but maybe I'll watch a scary movie with Caroline later tonight.
There you go. Yeah, I got the girls taking my 2 daughters with my wife trick-or-treating. Maisie is Ariana Grande, and Genevieve is 2.5 years old, so she is a ladybug.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm going to be Ted Lasso for this deal.
Okay, I was going to ask you, what are you going to be this year?
Ted
That's a good
Lasso,
one.
my wife is a baseball player from a league of their own.
Yeah.
Because that movie is based on the Rockford Peaches, and I mean, that's from our town. That's Rockford, Illinois. So
nice.
That's a huge deal here.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll be out living the dream. Look, I have the dad tax built into the trick or treating. I have told my daughter, my oldest daughter, I said, listen, I'll take you trick or treating for as long as you want to go, but any full size candy that you get,
yeah,
it's mine. She's cool with it. She's like, that's cool. Thankfully, she doesn't care one way or the other about Reese's. She's just kind of like, yeah, it's fine. And I absolutely love Reese's Peanut Butter Cups more than anything in the world, including my kids. And so there's like 4 houses. I know she's going to get a full-size Reese's Peanut Butter Cup thing. And I'm like, man, it's a clean house. Thank you. Sounds great. And I will record the Jets-Texans game, and I'll watch it later.
Yeah, good move.
But yeah, Living the dream, man. Living the dream.
You're not gonna like me. You're not gonna like me for this, Matt. But I think Reese's are overrated. They're not my favorite candy. I kind of like shrug when they're there, so I give them to my partner. I was like, you can have them. She loves them. But yeah, I'm a
bigger fan now of Caroline than I am of you. I didn't know Caroline. I never met her.
I don't know. Peanut butter and
what's
chocolate,
your favorite candy?
I'm definitely a big Twix guy.
Twix
less peanut butter there, more caramel. Give me that. Definitely like Kit Kats, but I don't know. They're just people like Reese's, and I'm like, they're okay.
It's like I eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich every day.
There you go. So you're a big peanut butter guy.
Yeah, I'm a huge peanut butter guy. Tell you what though, underrated candy, and you really like only see it a lot on Halloween. 100 grand. You ever had a 100 grand bar?
Yeah, I like those. Yeah,
great candy. Whoppers.
But I never say I want one of those. When they appear, I'll gladly take it, but I never think about them. Yeah, good point.
Same. But like a Crunch bar.
Oh yeah, okay.
House of Crunch bar all day long.
Yeah, I like those.
Man, I like trying to think of other like stuff that like you only see on Halloween. You're like, yeah, that's great, and then you can never see it the rest of the year.
I would throw back an Almond Joy. I do not like the coconut in that, so not for me.
I don't mind them, but like I'm not like seeking them out. Like if it's there, like I don't mind coconut, but I'm like, it's whatever. But yeah, I will say this though, and I will leave everybody on this note. If you're out there and you live in a neighborhood where kids are coming to trick or treat at your house, and you give them anything but candy, just know that I think you belong in prison. Okay, people who give fruit or give a damn pencil.
Oh man,
you're the absolute worst. You're the absolute worst. Not only do you deserve prison time, maybe the chair. You're the absolute worst person alive. Like, it is Halloween. Give the kids candy. And if you don't want to give them candy because you've got like some aversion to it, you're a dentist and you're like, no more cavities, fine. Then turn off your porch light. Fine. I don't care. I'm not judging you. Turn off your porch light. I will judge you if you give my 2.5-year-old daughter a pencil. I am absolutely throwing it on your lawn. Like, don't be that person. That person is the worst. It's the one time a year. Kids are running around. They're all excited. What am I going to get? Oh, I got a pencil. You deserve to be in prison. You are the absolute worst person alive. It is brutal. I'm sorry. I had to say that. It's the one time a year.
And don't give out candy corn, please. That's the worst.
Oh, that's terrible. I agree. We're sympathetic on that, 1,000%. That is the candy corn is nothing but like boiled down sugar, just like molded. It's terrible.
Tastes terrible
too. Give Skittles.
Yeah.
Sour Patch Kid. I don't care. Whatever. But don't be that person. Oh God, nothing's worse. Nothing.
Pencils and candy corn. Imagine,
bro. I get more annoyed now than when I was a kid at people who give out like pencils and stuff like that. That drives me. It's like you're so cheap that you couldn't go out and get a bag or two of candy. And again, look, maybe your budget's tight and you can't. Hey, no judgment. Then turn off the porch light.
Yes.
But you made the choice to go out and buy pencils when there was good candy right there. Go to prison. That's where you belong. Sorry.
Yeah, and no oranges either. This is not like a lunch sandwich bag.
No fruit. God. Stop. It's like you're basically telling people like, oh, you're going to let your kids eat candy. Yeah, I am, because it's Halloween, you freak. Yeah, I am. I'm going to let them have candy. Oh my God. People are the worst that do that stuff. The absolute unequivocal worst. So if you live in a neighborhood and you're going to turn that porch light on, you better be giving out candy or I'm coming for you. I will track each of these people down one by one.
Those people and Yankees fans too. We're coming at you.
Those people are all one and the same.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all. Believe me, those people have the light off. They're sitting there in their lazy boy crying. Yeah. Okay, into their hoagie. They are the worst. I don't mind. You know what? I'm a New Yorker. I get to say it. I know all those people. I grew up with those people. I live with those people. Oh, all right. Hey. Thank you for listening to the MMQB podcast. Appreciate you as always. Of course, we'll be back next week as well. Of course, Albert Breer, Connor Orr. I believe Albert's also going to be at the Kansas City game. So I've got to track him down and give him a hard time about something. I figure it out. But in the meantime, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Appreciate each and every one of you. For Gilberto Manzano, I am Matt Verderame. Enjoy week 9 and enjoy some holiday candy or some Halloween candy. No fruit, no pencils. Have a great holiday and enjoy the beginning of November. Take care.